Welcome back to the Crypto Picture channel, where I help you see crypto through a clear lens. Today we're going to be going over the Bitcoin chart, a little bit of a follow-up to the macro video I did the other day. Then secondly, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance, and then we're going to be also taking a look at some of the altcoins that I have recently picked up when the market was down actually this morning and turned around pretty nicely. But yeah, we'll be looking at all of them priced in Bitcoin. So yeah, let's get it on with the video here. So looking at the BLX, as I mentioned in my last macro update video, I did take my initial investment out of crypto at $61,000-ish. Okay, so I didn't sell any of my Bitcoins, but I did sell some altcoins and some, some other stuff. Okay, so even though I took my initial investment out, does not mean that I'm in any way bearish. I just want to be able to hold this parabolic run and do it systematically and strategically, with mainly just playing with my profits. Okay, so now everything that I take out, no matter what happens, is going to be gravy on top. Okay, so looking at the Bitcoin chart and what I'm going to go into with some of these altcoins, I'm going to be using Bitcoin as my oscillator for these altcoins. Okay, and what I mean by that is, unless we get a weekly close below the parabolic line that I've been outlining in the last couple of videos, but primarily went over it in depth in the last video, I will not be getting out of any of my altcoin positions. Okay, unless the structure really gets broken from a Bitcoin comparative, like it really starts shitting the bed, then I will start to consider moving it into something else. Okay, but all the ones that I've chosen for today do look very constructive, priced in Bitcoin. Okay, so as I went over in the last video, the parabolic uptrend, the further we got away from this parabolic uptrend, the more it was informing us that a top was coming in. We're still hugging this pretty tightly right now, so that would suggest that, when we do pull away from this parabolic uptrend line, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of solid altcoin gains. Okay, so the altcoin gains basically went all the way until January 1st. Well, the first week in January. Okay, so the first week in January is when most of the altcoins were at their all-time highs. They topped out a little bit after Bitcoin. Will it play out the exact same? There's no guarantees, but I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk here with part of my capital to position myself for that scenario playing out. So obviously, if you've been following the channel, you're in the Discord group, my main holds, and this doesn't affect my main holds. This is just stuff that I've added into my speculative or trading portfolio. My main coins that I'm holding in my holding portfolio is Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT, Chainlink, and Cardano. Okay, I do have a couple of other small positions like Elrond and such in my holding account, but primarily those 5 in my holding account. Okay, when we look at Bitcoin dominance from a weekly perspective, we are in a clear downtrend here, right? It makes sense that we may see a couple of green candles, maybe even Bitcoin increases in value versus Bitcoin slightly. Okay, but I think we're really getting to a point in the cycle where we're going to see this come down a little bit. Now, the thing is do we come up and make a head and shoulders type of pattern, right, where Bitcoin goes on a huge run and then the altcoins catch up after? It's possible. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean just because I'm buying these, I'm anticipating Bitcoin to be outperformed by altcoins in the immediate short term. But anything is possible, and we'll have to see what's happening. So right now with Bitcoin, we have broken that previous high again. We are sitting right above it right now. So the previous all-time high was $58,290, depending on which exchange you do or you use. I'm using Bitstamp because it's the chart that's been around for the longest. So on Bitstamp, we have broken back above this. We'll have to see if we can hold. Let's see if we've closed. We haven't even closed a 12-hour above it yet. We're really just starting to get above it now. If we switch to the, yeah, so on the 4 hours, we've now closed 2 candles above this level. That's very good in my opinion. So we'll have to see how that progresses. The further Bitcoin moves up, the better it is for the entire market. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor that. Ethereum could be playing this W pattern, but to be honest, like I've been very surprised with Ethereum. It hasn't been looking very strong in its Bitcoin comparative. Very surprising. I don't know, maybe it's just a very crowded trade. I'll continue to hold my Ethereum because I do, you know, from all of the altcoins, I still believe in Ethereum the most. We could be playing kind of like a W kind of pattern here. We'll just have to see how that goes though. No guarantees here. We are coming up to like a major, if I go to the weekly, we are coming up to a really major support level for Ethereum versus Bitcoin since we started this uptrend. So I mean, if you were trying to increase your Bitcoin position with Ethereum, I mean, this would be a type of level that you look to re-enter, right? You know, everything is subjective, but in theory, this is where you would want to enter. You wouldn't want to enter up here because you're going to lose value versus Bitcoin. If you were looking to get an Ethereum position while maintaining your Bitcoin comparative, this would be the area that you would want to do it. So that's it for the big market caps. Now let's get into some of the altcoins that I've chosen to add to my portfolio recently. I did move most of my trading account out of decentralized exchanges for what I believe to be possibly the last few weeks or 6 weeks of the bull market. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong so I can continue to make money. And if I'm wrong, that's fantastic. If I'm not wrong, well, I've secured profits. I've systematically taken money out of the market, and I've been able to pay myself. So either way, it's a win-win for me. I'll never sell out of all my positions, and I'll go over kind of what my scenario is right here. Okay, so Rose BTC has been held underneath this was resistance level. I had some alerts set on Rose. It broke out really fast, so I did wait to today. I believe I picked it up in the high 17 cents, so sometime during this candle here, because this is technically the March 18th candle now. So I did pick it up on the 17th, which was today where I am, but if you're UTC time, then it is already the 18th. So yeah, I picked it up in this candle. I picked it up on a support zone versus Bitcoin and also on the dollar comparative. Every chart I'm going to be going over today is going to be priced in Bitcoin because I want altcoins that have momentum versus Bitcoin. Okay, that way even if my Ethereum keeps going down, that's fine. The dollar value will increase if Bitcoin continues upwards, of course, but I will have coins outperforming Bitcoin. Now, to me, this looks very constructive. I'm not even going to count this crap. All right, let's not even look at that. Let's just, you know, assume like, okay, even this was the high. All right, that's fine. Okay, but what I'm seeing here, okay, so we haven't broke all-time high versus Bitcoin. We came up, we retested it, we got rejected, and now we're kind of retesting this type of cup and handle formation here, right? So if we were to just take this, so you know, we got this kind of cup and handle formation here, right? So and we've broken out of that. Okay, so right here to right here. So we've broken out of this cup and handle. This would give us a perceived or projected target of roughly if we were to take out from the breakout point, so right here, and from where we currently are, you know, that's still like modest, like 34% gains versus Bitcoin. I don't imagine it will stop there though. It'll probably get up here, retest its previous high, and then continue onwards and upwards. And I'll show you a chart that I've been trading for quite some time, that I've actually recently just got back into, because it's about to break its all-time high in dollar terms. So I think that'll be very constructive for that particular coin. Stay till the end and I'll let you know which one that is. Okay, then we have VeChain. Okay, so I've never owned VeChain prior to this. I mean, I've had it on and off like a couple of times, but just short-term trades. I did recently add to my VeChain position today, and I plan to hold this one potentially till the end of this bull market. I like this kind of rounding bottom here. We are starting to see an uptrend here now. If you compare this to Bitcoin, and let's say this is where I would have originally looked at it, so it's up 113% versus Bitcoin since back in February 9th, so in about 37 days. So I think this is constructive. It's just getting over this level now, the rounding bottom. So I mean, to think that it couldn't at least come back and test this area at least, you know, but with all of these, I'm looking for at least 100% gains based on the fact that we're going into a bull market. I have not put my sell orders in versus Bitcoin, just in case Bitcoin does continue to just outperform. I've put in all my sell orders. I'm selling half at 100%, and then I'll carry them the rest of the way to see how they go. I will sell them into dollars. Okay, but VeChain is a nice one. Right after we got a rounding bottom here, we had an explosive move. Got another rounding bottom here. I'm expecting another explosive move. Okay, and just if we want to be very like, you know, if we want to just take like a really wishful thinking here, you know, we could create like another like huge cup type of formation, but we'll have to see how that goes. Okay, but the one thing is that this is also a larger rounding bottom formation, so it is very possible that we would at least come up to here. Doesn't mean that we're going to make new highs versus Bitcoin. We could just get rejected from our previous high versus Bitcoin, and we'll have to see how that goes. But that's 100% gains versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's moving up in value. A lot of cup and handles here, okay, and I do like these cup and handle formations. So we have another cup and handle here versus on Acro. If you look at this, we had a nice accumulation zone. We had a parabolic move. Like, this was crazy. This was ridiculous, right? Like this, I wish I saw this. I think it was only on KuCoin before, but this was like a 5,000% move. Okay, if we go to the same price versus Bitcoin right now, and there's no guarantees of this, it's a 373% gain. We'll have to see how that goes. But right now, conservatively speaking, from the lowest point to the, you know, top of the cup, that would put us from where we are right now at about a, you know, modest 193% gains versus Bitcoin if this pattern plays out. But we've been seeing it play out on a couple of different altcoin positions. One in particular that I really liked had a really nice cup and handle type formation like this. So we'll have to see how it works out. But one thing I like about Acro and most of these coins is that they had a low point and then they had a high, and then it created higher lows versus Bitcoin. Okay, and there's certain coins that I'll show you in a minute, okay, that have been around for a while that just keep creating lower lows versus Bitcoin. RSR also here. I'm keeping this red for now but it does look like it wants to break out of this area. Once it's confirmed and broken out, I'll turn this green. I'm just not 100% confident that I can turn this green quite yet. It is signaling a strong buy, but I don't really follow this too much. All I see is a nice accumulation zone here after it had a parabolic increase. The chart doesn't go back that far, but it did have a parabolic increase here. It probably like 10x in the last altcoin cycle that we had during this bull market, and we've seen a nice correction now versus Bitcoin. At one point it corrected about 80% versus Bitcoin, and it's still down 50% versus Bitcoin, which is a lot better than some other coins. Okay, so I like RSR here. You know, if it can continue to make higher highs and higher lows, or at least higher lows, it looks constructive for a bottoming pattern versus Bitcoin. Then we have Curve, sorry. Curve is still like pretty low when you look at it versus its Bitcoin comparative, right? Like it's still down substantially. I'm not going to count the huge wick at the top. It's down 93% versus Bitcoin. But what are we seeing here? Okay, so we came down, made a little bit of a move to the upside, created a low, came back up, created a higher low than this, or a higher high than this right here, right? And now we're sitting on it as support. Okay, we're seeing bullish divergence here on market Cipher. All right, so this is a good sign. We got a buy signal here on the daily. Last time we got that was over here, and we had like a pretty nice move versus Bitcoin. Like if you were to just take this measured move, it went up 373% versus Bitcoin, which is really good. But this looks good. Like we are creating a higher low versus Bitcoin. Okay, and again, I'll show you some charts where that is not happening. I think even RLC is actually not doing that yet. We had our first higher low right here. So but the reason I like this is because, first of all, on a 2-week chart, every time we've printed one of these green buy signals on market Cipher, our RLC has seen substantial gains. Okay, so we got a buy signal here on market Cipher on the 2-week time frame, and we went up 317% versus Bitcoin. We got another green buy signal here versus Bitcoin. You would have bought at the top of the candle because you would have waited for confirmation. Another 300%. So I mean, if we get another 300% here, that'd be fantastic, right? So let's say you got your buy signal here, and then it moved up 300%. It wouldn't even have to create a higher high versus Bitcoin, and you'd still be killing it. But either way, I'm still selling half on a double in dollars. Okay, band looks really good here. You know, we had our like a constructive bull cycle, or like a constructive uptrend here, right? We had a constructive uptrend, and then what we did was we went parabolic, and we've just come back down to the mean. Okay, and what I mean by the mean is this line right here, right? It's just come back to the mean, and we are just hopefully finding support here. The 3-day looks like it's about to turn around here. If we do get that, that would be awesome, because we'll see decreasing sell pressure on the 3-day chart, right? I'm front running it a little bit, but on the 2-day we've already seen that we're getting decreasing sell pressure on the 2-day time frame. So I do like this as of now. The RSI's moved out of this like lower range where it's in really oversold territory. It started to come back up to the neutral area. So we'll have to see if we get like a nice move up while this is green. We'll probably see a really nice move out of band. Okay, then we have AVAX. This one's just been killing it. I think it has really good momentum. It's still not too high of a market cap. Like, it is a high market cap obviously, but it's still below the 10 billion. So I think it's around $4 or $5 billion. Okay, which is still obviously high. But the one thing I like about this is that there's no bag holders. And what I mean by bag holders is that there's nobody really in the red. Okay, only people that are in the red are people that bought here. Okay, other than that, I mean, everybody's probably pretty happy with this. They got in anywhere in this area. Okay, so that's a really good sign. Okay, so anybody that bought, between September and now, other than the guys that got in on the parabolic increase, they're probably relatively happy. Okay, so one thing I like here is, obviously all of this is subjective depending on what Bitcoin does, right? But I do like this. We're starting to see like this inverse head and shoulder type pattern on market Cipher, and we'll have to see how it plays out, right? So 12 hour, we've seen that the negative money flow really start to turn around here, right? So it's sloping up. Let's just see how it goes. The 6 hour did get rejected by the bullish control zone, but that's fine. When we were going up last time, we did have a couple of rejections here. So we had a rejection here, came back down, and then finally broke back above it. So that is a possibility, that scenario of happening. Another thing that I like, it's more of like a rounding bottom, right? So it feels like it's being reaccumulated at these levels. We're starting to see a little bit of higher lows, okay? So we'll have to see how that goes, right? Here we haven't really seen any higher lows on the daily yet. I mean, you could say this is a higher low, but I'm not really gonna make that determination yet. But AVAX does seem to be a good project that has a lot of momentum behind it, and a lot of people that talk about it. So we'll have to see how that works out. And then we have EGLD. I've been talking about this quite a few times. I mean, even during the dip and everything, like its prices just basically stayed flatlined the entire time, okay? So that does mean that the sell pressure is really dying on EGLD, because I mean, even as everything was dropping, it was just kind of like chilling at $139, $130, $120, right? So we'll have to see how it goes. I do like the project as well, so maybe I'm a little bit biased when it comes to EGLD. We'll have to see what happens here, but yeah, I think again, selling half on a double, it's only a $2 billion market cap, is possible, right? Especially if we're going into like this parabolic phase where Bitcoin is going to just go parabolic and drag everything up with it, and then usually we see these altcoins go a little crazy, right? So I wanted to compare these charts to ZIL, okay? And the reason I wanted to compare them to ZIL is because Zilliqa had this cup and handle formation, okay? Then it had like this handle, I guess, forming, and it looks like it wants to break out right now. I did buy a retest of this yellow line, okay? So the reason I bought the yellow line is because it is the peak of this, and when I first created this line, we didn't have all this market history. It was still down here. I originally bought ZIL around 3 cents, still holding a little bit of that, but I have re-added to my position here because we're seeing higher lows. It looks constructive, and we've broken this resistance area. We are holding it right now. I mean, I know there's always a possibility that we break down and that'll be what it's going to be, but I'm willing to take a risk here, and I think I can get into this with relatively low risk, because if it falls too far below here and it starts closing 12-hour daily candles, then I will probably just move on. But I wanted to show you these charts versus something like and I'll just go through it really quick. Sorry, just be a second, I didn't prepare these charts yet, but I just wanted to give you an idea of coins that you don't want to buy, okay? Like, look at this, right? So if you compare the charts I was just looking at with like something like this, right, you can see the difference. And this is priced in Bitcoin as well, okay? If you look at it, Ethereum Classic, right, like these are the charts you don't want to be buying. There's no point. You might as well just hold Bitcoin, right? I'm sure there's some others too, like this one, right? It's just flatlined. It's completely dead. Could it have a pump? Sure, but it doesn't look like there's much life to it, right? DLT, same thing, just continues to create lower highs and lower lows. right? These are the type of coins that you want to completely avoid. Okay, even Dash, like I know a lot of people like Dash, but like, I mean, you just hold Bitcoin, guys. There's no point. Look at this thing, right? And now compare that to these charts, right? I mean, even RLC, even though it was around since 2018, you know, it's still not looking like those other coins, right? Like, look at these, right? Look at the difference. You see what I'm saying? There's no life in these. You don't want to be in these coins. Cody's a good one. Let's see if I have any other examples. Cielo's too new. CDT, I mean, another one, right? Like, don't buy this. Do not buy this. This isn't financial advice. This is for educational purposes, but I'm just giving you an idea as to some of the coins that there's just no point of buying. Can they go parabolic like this after like just being completely crap? Sure. They definitely can, and if you like to take those risks, then by all means go ahead and do that. I'm good. I'll stick to the charts that have some strength, that look like they have very high possibility of gaining value, and they've constructively gone up in value and down in value versus Bitcoin while creating higher highs and higher lows over an extended period of time. I would prefer to stay in those coins, right? Like, I mean, even ICX, like, I do like ICX, but it's still kind of like, you know, if you compare it to the charts we were just looking at, like, it's just night and day, right? Like, there's no comparison. Like, yes, we had a major drop here, and it sucks, but we came up, we created a higher high, we got above, like, this resistance level from the kind of, like, consolidation after the bear, like, the peak of the bear market to the first consolidation, right? We did create a higher high from there, and I like this, right? Higher lows, right? So again, when you look at like other things, it's just not doing that, right? So something to keep an eye on, something to look out for. Just a little bit of a trick for you guys. I did buy Litecoin. The only coin that I bought that's actually looks like it looks terrible against Bitcoin, and maybe I just have like emotionally bought this thing, but I still believe it can go up in value, and I'll still sell half on a double against dollars. This was it. This was probably the only one that I bought that yeah, it doesn't look very good versus Bitcoin. I'm probably better off just putting my money back into Bitcoin, but we'll see what happens. This one's the biggest gamble that I have, in all honesty. So yeah, that's all I have for tonight, guys. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and join the Discord channel. It's down below. I do send a lot of posts in there. I did send this to the premium guys while I was buying them in real time. Currently up on all of these positions, somewhere between 5 and 10% from today in one day. So we bought them at optimal times. I'm not buying as the price is pumping. I'm looking for corrections and getting in, right? So yeah, and again, this isn't financial advice. Everything I do is for educational purposes. And until next time, see ya.